The Duchess of Cambridge's parents, Carole and Michael Middleton, have left the hospital.
Carole.
You guys listen. Carole Middleton, the calm, graceful mother-in-law everyone thought was just in the background, well, she just shook Buckingham Palace to its core. Like, shook it. For years, she played the part. Kind, quiet, totally respectful. But behind closed doors, a storm was brewing. And when she finally spoke up, oh, it was powerful, not dramatic, but enough to leave Queen Camilla absolutely shook. Yes, really. The palace didn't know what hit them. What Carole did next? Oh, it flipped everything. Let's rewind a bit. April 29th, 2011. The royal wedding of the decade. Cameras flashing, pomp and perfection. Royals, Middletons, all smiling, polished. But behind those smiles, oh honey, it was icy. That day felt colder than it looked, Carole once said. Yikes, she stood next to Camilla, both smiling like besties for the cameras. But inside, Carole felt it. That cold shoulder, that unspoken message, she wasn't one of them. She's just Kate's mom, someone muttered, not royalty. Oof, let's not forget, Carole didn't grow up in castles. Her dad laid bricks, her mom worked behind a counter, she herself was a flight attendant before building party pieces with her husband, self-made, grounded, proud. But you think Buckingham Palace cared? Nope. They wanted titles, heritage, and centuries of tradition, and Carole just didn't fit that mold. Camilla reportedly once said, "There are rules here. Some people must learn them." Ouch. And as Kate got closer to William, Carole felt it. The snubs, the cold stares, left out of conversations, ignored in meetings. Camilla, on the other hand, oh, she was born into this. She was the tradition, and she made it very clear. Carole was trying too hard to belong. She doesn't get how this works. Camilla reportedly told a friend, when the wedding was being planned, Carole tried to help. A sweet flower Kate loved, a few family touches, but guess what? Shut down every time. "We've got that covered," they told her. Politely, of course, but the message? Loud and clear. "Stay in your lane, Carole." She backed off. She smiled, but inside, you know that had to sting. And after the wedding, things didn't get better. They got worse. Her calls with Kate, less frequent, time together, vanished. "I used to talk to her every day," Carole admitted. Now, she was waiting, hoping for Kate to find a spare moment. Prince William, bless him, kept walking between them, trying to ease the tension, smiling, chatting. But that frost, unshakable, and that moment wasn't about that night. It was about all the nights before, all the doors shut on Carole, all the moments stolen from her. "This didn't start yesterday," a family friend whispered. "This has been building for years." But here's the thing, through all of it, Carole stayed calm. She didn't lash out. She didn't play victim. She just stood tall. "I only wanted to be part of their lives," she told someone, "not the spotlight." Kate tried her best. She really did, to juggle both worlds, royalty and real life. But the pressure? It was too much. Royal duties piled on. Family time vanished. Her old world, the world of love and comfort, fading fast. "Sometimes I feel like I'm being pulled in half," Kate reportedly told her mom. "And if that doesn't tear your heart out?" Carole watched her daughter carry the world and couldn't help. "I see the weight on her shoulders," she told a friend, "and I can't lift it for her." The palace had frozen Carole out. Staff who once smiled now barely nodded. Even Kate seemed more distant, tired. "You can feel when you're not welcome," Carole said, "even if no one says it." She didn't yell. She didn't write a memoir. She wrote notes for herself. She kept a record because one day she knew the truth had to come out. This wasn't about drama. This was about legacy. Carole wasn't just a mom. She was a protector. She had built a life from scratch, and she wasn't going to let anyone rewrite that story. "I raised my children to be strong and fair," she said, "and I won't let that be forgotten." Camilla, meanwhile, her attitude had changed. Cold, distant, all formalities, no warmth. But Carole? She wasn't begging anymore. "I'm not leaving," she said to a friend. "I'm stepping back. There's a difference." And then came the twist. Oh my God, the moment everything changed. It all came to a head on the morning of February 6, 2025. And no one, and I mean no one, was ready for what Carole Middleton did next. There were no reporters, no photographers, no assistants, just Carole, alone, dressed in a dark coat holding a leather briefcase. She walked up to Buckingham Palace like she owned the place. One staffer said she walked in like she meant business. And, oh, she did. This wasn't some friendly drop-by. It wasn't tea and biscuits. This was something else entirely. One royal aide later said, "It wasn't a meeting. It was a reckoning." Inside that briefcase, not letters, not family notes. Documents, real ones, bank records, transaction lists, company names, transfers, years of details she had quietly collected. She didn't come to ask for answers, someone whispered. She brought them with her. No press release followed. The palace didn't say a word, but the whispers, they were deafening. Some said she'd uncovered secret meetings in Switzerland. Others mentioned shell companies with names no one recognized. Some even believed she had proof that there was a plan to erase the Middletons completely from the royal picture. This wasn't about feeling excluded from a party. This was about being pushed out of her daughter's life, systematically, quietly, and permanently. And Carole, she saw it all. It wasn't one moment, she said. It was all the little ones added up. She didn't yell, she didn't demand. She opened her briefcase and laid it all out. And with the calmest voice in the room, she made it crystal clear. She had seen everything. This isn't about pride, she said. It's about truth. Now let's be real. Queen Camilla? She had gotten comfortable, powerful. She'd climbed her way to queen consort, settled into her role, taken charge of traditions and expectations. But Carole showing up like that, with facts, it caught her completely off guard. She didn't raise her voice, someone close to the palace said. She raised the truth. Because what Carole built, her life, her family, her legacy, was from nothing. No palace, no privilege, just effort. And she wasn't going to let anyone wipe that away. I built what I have with my own hands, she once said, and no one's going to erase that. That day inside the palace, everyone felt the shift. The staff grew tense, whispered conversations, locked doors, sudden cancellations. Carole walked out exactly the way she came in, quiet, steady. That briefcase now lighter, but what she left behind, heavy, shaking. She didn't look back. I said what I needed to say, she told a friend, and they heard me. And boy, did they hear her. So what did Queen Camilla do? She broke, literally. She didn't hold it together this time, a palace aide whispered. For the first time in years, the woman known for being ice cold and unshakable lost it completely. She left the room, fast, didn't look back, didn't speak. Everyone remembered how Queen Elizabeth had backed her, how she had fought for Camilla's place beside Charles. But now, that same woman was crumbling under pressure. What Carole brought to that room wasn't drama, it wasn't gossip, it was proof, piece by piece, carefully tracked, quietly documented. No anger, just facts. The moment she was cut out, the changes she noticed, the details no one thought she'd pick up. Inside the palace, panic mode. Meetings canceled, staff scrambling, press announcements suddenly pulled. Even retired advisors were called in for damage control. And Camilla, gone. For 10 days, she disappeared. Not seen, not heard, not a single appearance. And when she finally came back, at the Commonwealth Day event, she looked different. Not in clothes, not in hair, in energy, the usual sparkle, gone. The confident stride, replaced by hesitation. Her staff, smaller, her smile, tense. She looked like someone who'd lost a battle, a royal watcher said. Inside the palace, it was chaos. Lines were drawn, staff chose sides, and guess what? A surprising number stood behind Carole. She didn't come to destroy the crown, one staffer said. She came to protect what she loves. But oh, the traditionalists were furious. They said Carole had crossed a line, that she'd brought too much emotion into a world built on rules and control. Still, the truth? It didn't matter what side you were on, the palace wasn't the same anymore. People stopped speaking freely, started watching each other, you could feel it in the air. One footman said, "We stopped chatting over tea. We started checking who was listening." Even Prince William, he looked unsettled, torn, caught between his crown and his mother-in-law's truth. Insiders say he even started reaching out to Diana's former aides, asking for guidance, looking for insight, wanting to make sure history didn't repeat itself. He's walking the same path his mother once walked, someone said, and now he's feeling the same weight. And Carole? She didn't go to the press, didn't give interviews. She just went home, quiet, still, but everything around her, rattling, her visit like dropping a stone into still water, the ripples, reaching every corner of the palace. She said nothing after, a friend said, but everyone heard her. And the palace? Still standing, but it's not the same. Not after Carole Middleton, not after what she revealed. So, what happened next? After Carole Middleton dropped her truth bomb on Buckingham Palace and left without a single look back, the aftermath was immediate. Queen Camilla still trying to pick up the pieces, but the palace already changing, and fast. Because while everyone was looking at Camilla, someone else was stepping up. Catherine, Kate, the Princess of Wales, Carole's daughter, the woman they once whispered about behind palace walls. She's not royal enough. She comes from a party shop family. Remember that? Well, not anymore. From the moment Carole walked out of that palace, Kate started to rise. And not by forcing it, not by grabbing power, no. It was quiet, steady, deliberate. She didn't speak out, she just showed up, a palace aide said, and people began to listen. Let's rewind a bit. Back in 2011, when Kate married Prince William, she was watched like a hawk. Everything she wore, everything she said, scrutinized. And inside the palace, she wasn't exactly welcomed with open arms. Oh no. To some aristocrats, she was just the girl from a party supply company. Ordinary. She didn't belong, a former courtier admitted. But Kate, she never fought that. She waited, she learned, she studied the rules, she watched everything, and said nothing. Like a student preparing for something bigger, she moved through palace life without making waves. And slowly, without anyone realizing it, she was becoming the most trusted person in the royal family. Even Queen Elizabeth noticed. They bonded, quietly, sitting together at events, sharing private car rides. The Queen admired Kate's calm strength. She didn't chase attention, she just worked. She never complained, never tried to rush things, an insider said. She handled things the Queen's way. And as other royals stumbled, scandals, drama, missteps, Kate just kept rising. But now, in 2025, after everything Carole had exposed, Kate wasn't just respected, she was being seen as the future. By March, the shift inside the palace was clear. Camilla had stepped back, fewer appearances, less input, less presence. And Kate, she stepped in. Her events increased. Her voice began to carry weight. People looked to her. Staff leaned in. Even the office location changed, moved closer to King Charles's private rooms. That tiny adjustment, massive symbolism. It said everything, one insider noted, without a single word spoken. In public, Kate and William appeared closer than ever, in sync, united, a team. He leaned on her more, asked for her opinion in meetings, and she gave it, carefully, clearly, wisely. And let's talk about how she showed up. Her clothes? Thoughtful. She rewore old outfits, mixed in high street brands. The message? I'm one of you. She wasn't dressing for aristocrats anymore, she was dressing for the people. She's not just a princess, a fashion expert said. She's a woman who listens. At a time when the UK was struggling with rising bills and uncertainty, Kate's wardrobe, her words, her presence said, I see you. And it didn't stop there, even the royal family's social media changed. Gone was the stiff, curated vibe. Now, photos of Kate laughing with her children, walking with William, real moments, candid smiles, honest connection. We started seeing the heart behind the crown, one follower commented. That shift? All Kate. She was pulling the monarchy out of the shadows, not by tearing it down, but by making it relatable, real. And suddenly, those old whispers about the Middletons? Gone. People weren't questioning whether Carole and her family belonged. They were realizing just how much influence they already had. It's not about titles, a palace staffer said. It's about trust. And people trust her. Because in the royal world, power doesn't just disappear, it moves. It flows toward those who can carry it. And now, it was flowing straight toward Kate. People had started to see her differently, not just as the girl who married a prince, but as the one who might lead this family into the future. She's rising, a royal watcher said, and she's doing it without noise. For the first time in decades, the palace wasn't just surviving, it was shifting. The old ways weren't crashing, but something new was rising beside them. And at the center of that quiet revolution, Kate, graceful, steady, unshaken, she didn't ask for power, she simply earned it. And now the question on everyone's lips isn't, does Kate belong? It's, is she already leading from behind? Because from where we're standing, the answer feels clear. The answer feels clear. The answer